And Radzi, what an incredible night. What did you make of it?
I love magic, and I sometimes don't always want to see magic because you think, is this going to live up to expectation? On that stage, we were treated to such a special spectacle. That was 10 out of 10, and the winner, Matt, just absolutely mind-blown.
Yeah, it was. People say it's a difficult decision. They were all fantastic, but he was world-class, wasn't he?
At the very start, without giving anything away, he did something on a screen that was a risk. And then he came out and you immediately like him. And then he took me on an emotional journey. By the end of it, I genuinely cried. And not in the sense of, oh, it brought a tear to my eye. No, it genuinely, even now thinking about it, so pleased for him. I don't know him, but I thought, yes, mate, it was exquisite. And there was no grandiosity. It wasn't sort of something you'd see in Vegas that requires special effects. It was quite literally magical.
Yeah, and it really was that magical journey, wasn't it? It was playing with all the emotions, the emotional roller coaster, if you like, when he talked about his relative and they did the painting and so on and so forth. Is that the real secret to magic?
I'll be honest, I think I'm the wrong guy to answer what the secret to magic is, but as a punter, I love being entertained, and I love that childhood wonder. And I also love excellence. So whether I work in sport and it's a champion that's unbeaten, or somebody on stage where everything they do, from their facial expression to their hand movements to the words they use, it is all not just considered, it's agonized over. And it's the desire to mesmerize is within every single thing they do. And that was him.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, not to get too kind of, I don't know, nationalistic about it, but to see a Brit that good, you think, go on, mate.
Yeah.
He could be out in Vegas smashing it. And I also got the impression that sometimes people reach an apex and you celebrate it. Sometimes you climb one mountain and that inspires you to climb others and to see what really is capable. So the next few years for Matt are going to be so exciting.
It's going to be really good. Talking about apex, I mean, you've had a phenomenal career yourself. What's been your proudest moment?
The truthful answer to that was the very beginning, because it took me 3 years to get my break in TV. So being sat down for a meeting that you think you're about to be sacked, and you find out you're going to be the 37th Blue Peter presenter, that was my life changed. And I went from living in a hostel in Manchester to having a full-time job of my dreams. So for me it was that, actually. There are things I've done that I'm very proud of. There have been little moments in an interview where I go, yes, things that no one would care about, like if it's speaking to the 7 times world champion and you get your order right, or Keely Hodgkinson in the Paris 2024 Olympics just gone, and I've memorised all of the British female Olympic track and field gold medalists. Brilliant. To tell her stuff like that no one cares about. But the moment was when I realised I'm actually about to see behind the doors and start my journey properly in TV. And actually, kind of game recognises game. Yeah. I would love to have a scintilla of what Matt produced today.
And what was your most, when you started Blue Peter, we all grew up watching people at Skid, what was the most surprising moment for you about Blue Peter behind the scenes?
It was more of a hope, and it was a hope that they care as much as you do. So people came up to me for the whole 5.5 years of my time on Blue Peter saying, oh, I remember John, Val and Pete. Yes. And everyone has an era. And look at you, you smile.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has that
Chef
effect.
The dog, they used to do a song
Get down, Chef.
Yeah, that's the one.
And the thing is, as soon as you say Blue Peter, no matter what the generation, people smile. But everyone behind the TV cameras, they know that. And there's a passion and a pride. And how many brands in this country have that legacy, that history, and that emotional attachment? And so it basically, I had no social life, but it didn't matter. You got to go into a museum and see the guts of the museum, right, and perhaps see an item that maybe didn't make it to camera. But I wasn't fussed about meeting famous people. For me, it was about meeting everyday heroes, unsung heroes, people that you wouldn't know about, and we shone a light on them, whether they were young, old, fat, thin, black, brown, whatever they are. If you've got a story to tell, we want to hear it.
And it was absolutely fascinating. What's been your biggest regret?
Oh, my biggest regret, Well, I suppose in economics they would say an opportunity cost is ultimately the effect of you do one thing, you can't do the other thing, and I can only live a stream of consciousness. So I suppose I've got, you know what, giving you a deep answer? My dad passed away in 2017, and it was not spending. I'd love to be able to rewind the clock and have certain moments again. And I think for me, as a 7-year-old, for example, I'd have loved to have played football with him again, played tennis with him again, done things like, and in fact, probably my biggest regret to that point, he loved sport. He's the reason why I work in sport. I'd have loved to have taken him to Paris 24 or Tokyo or Wimbledon or whatever. Yeah. So I can never change that, but that's I'd love my dad to be here now and say, Dad, let's do something awesome together.
Exciting stuff. I mean, you're absolutely right. Say to people that you love them whilst you still can is the honest answer, isn't it? Finally then, people want to start out in this business. You've got a phenomenal career. What advice would you give them?
My advice would be, I suppose it's when we talk about trying to chase your dreams. To dream of a rainbow, you have to put up with the rain. And we don't necessarily think about that. So I don't have a social life. I'm a single guy in my 30s, and a lot of my friends are married, have children, are settled down. And that, I suppose, has been the opportunity cost that I've foregone to get to do wonderful things, and I wouldn't change it. But I suppose it's to understand that whatever it is that you enter, try and be the absolute best, like Derren Brown, just the epitome of perfection in my eyes. But know that part of the fairy tale is actually the reality. We're all going to go to the toilet. You know, we're all going to be upset. We're all going to wake up knackered. We're all going to have to get on a train and go back up to the West Midlands now. You know, and I suppose it's to understand the reality of the dream, even though that sounds like somewhat of an oxymoron.
And it was a sort of life, sort of work balance, isn't it? So finally then, that's the extra finally, who would be your ideal magic partner then?
So do you mean a magician?
No, I mean somebody who say you're single at the moment, you're talking about a partner in life. What would that magic partner be? Somebody who expresses the virtues and values of thinking about it, someone like Emma Watson. Okay.
Because when she did her UN, I don't know much about her, but when she did her UN speech, I thought, wow, you're nervous. You're not doing that for any kind of external validation. You're not doing it to advance your career. You're doing it because you care, and this matters, and you're willing to put yourself on that platform to help others. And I think, that's amazing. That to me, that's wife material. That's what you want.
Material. That's brilliant. I love it.
That's what you'd want as a mother of your children. But like I say, I've never met her. Maybe she's a nasty piece of work. I doubt it.
She never misses an episode. This is going to be. It's going to be your moment. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming along.
My absolute pleasure, mate.
Take care. Cheers.